Howdy, model railroad talk fans. Doing a video actually in preparation for recording episode 75 of our audio podcast, which will come out 2 weeks from yesterday, which would be, let me look here, which would be, if my phone will open up, so yesterday, so it actually come out on October 5th, but I've been wanting to talk about this company. I have 3 of their sound-equipped reefers, and you can probably guess already. Scale Trains is who I'm talking about. I did some research on them last night, a little more than what most of us know, and I'm not going to get into in this video of who they are and all that stuff. We all know, we've all pretty much have heard Scale Trains, but what I am doing is I was able to purchase this basically new ES44 locomotive, and off of my well-known Facebook Marketplace seller, and it's DC. So I reached out to Scale Trains, and I just realized I had a little resin sitting there. I reached out to Scale Trains, and I'm like, okay, hey, what decoder do you guys recommend? And they told me, obviously ESU is who they use. Okay. This is the number for this particular one. And when I ordered it from them, I had to give them the part number, the SXT, this one's 32509, and requested that they program it, and they programmed it, and here's the program number. I went LokPilot, not sound. I've already got enough sound-equipped locomotives on my on my layout. I don't want to add any more. Maybe down the road I might, but right now I don't need the extra sound. So what we are going to do here is I'm recording while I am, because this is the first time I have done one of these locomotives. This is actually my first Scale Trains locomotive. So we are going to, I did read up on it. So what we're going to do is we are actually going to install the LokPilot decoder. If I can speak today, apparently I can't. And then on the audio podcast, I'm going to talk about it. So let's get started, and there we go. So the instructions, and I got to put on my old man glasses. The instructions basically state that you pull the couplers and the coupler boxes out, and the shell lifts right off. So if you have a Scale Trains and you've done this, then I am doing whatever, I'm not doing anything out of what you already know. And I have lost in this mess of a workbench that I need to clean up, which I'm sure I'm not the only one. My screw extractor deal. There we go. Now, there's my little cup. I just use little cups. I don't even know where I got that from. I think I got it from work. Pull the coupler boxes out. Now, while, yes, I commend Scale Trains on their couplers. They are very, in my opinion, very lifelike and colored, but they are plastic. And I have not done this yet on my reefers, but I plan on switching them out to my KD 158s, just so everything on the layout is cohesive. If you're newer to the hobby and you're watching this, while yes, they will work, they are compatible. But I have found that with the Scale Trains version, and there again, like I said, I'm not cutting them down by no means. I found though with the with my 158s that I am running, they do not, it takes a little more oomph to connect them, I guess is the best way to put it. They and I just, you know, I think I feel based off of what I have used of them off of the my reefers that like I've stated, I still need to convert. I feel that if I was running number 5s, this traditional number 5s, I would be okay. But I am not. I'm running the 158s, which are scale couplers. So anyways, I'm going to convert this when I get done. So there is the shell, and that was as easy as they said. Take the coupler pockets out, and that's that. Now we're going to set that up there for safekeeping because we don't want anything happening to that. So here is the circuit board right here. Everything's done right. It looks like everything's good. Based off of what I read on the instructions, I just basically pull this out. I do see the dip switches. I do need to turn them to the on position per Scale Trains. But here is where it seems right now there's a little fine wire there. Need to pull the I guess this is a dummy plug, even though there is I can't tell if those are not plugs on that side. So no, it is not. I am very, very carefully pulling or prying, trying to. I wish they made, like at work, when I work on taking dashes apart, I use plastic pry bars. And I wish they made them in this scale. These are really tight, and that's what I was afraid of doing, because I knew that would happen. So what I just did, pulling this out, I bent 2 of the tabs. I'm not too worried. I believe I got to put on my little more powerful ones. I believe I can straighten them out, and then I'll just have to be very, very careful installing the new decoder, because I really don't want to have to replace this board. This looks like a nightmare of soldering. But while I'm doing this, getting this straightened out here, I don't know if you've checked it out. If you haven't, on their YouTube channel, Scale Trains that is, they have, I think it was done a couple years ago, where they went through and showed the process of, well, they have a couple videos, I should say, of, okay, when they first started out, and the process of, I guess what the process is of creating a model. If you haven't seen that, it's pretty interesting, really kind of cool. And that's, okay, that's missing. That's supposed to be like that. All right. And so I would recommend you checking it out. All right, now I feel like I got the tabs well. And what we're going to do is very, very, very carefully put this one, I guess, well, that's odd. Unless, do I flip it over? Let's look here. Oh, maybe we go that way. Oh, you sneaky. You sneaky, sneaky. I would have thought, but I see how they did that. I kind of dig that. Now, hopefully, son of a gun. Bear with me. You are watching this as I'm doing this. Do not be very, very careful when you're taking these off, because throwing the alignment off on these little very, very fine tabs that stick up, because I've done it before in the past on with like Digitrax decoders and stuff that are like the 8-pin. This happens to be, I think they call it the 21-pin decoder, and I know they have others, but all right. Ooh, I lucked out there. Thank you, whoever's looking over me. So we're gonna just kind of tuck some of this back, so that way we don't have any noise. But anyways, Scale Trains, though, yeah, check out their documentaries. They got there. You're gonna have to search down a little bit older. I want to say the couple that I watched last night. One is actually them like in the beginning. Like it goes through and explains how they became what they are 7-8 years ago, whatever it was. And it's very interesting, very informative. All right. So that's it. You can see the new decoder is in there. This is the old dummy plug. We're going to put that back in the packaging here. So I have it. And I am one of those, depending on what it is, but mostly I can say when it comes to locomotive stuff, I keep all the documentation. If I install, which I need to do this before I forget, as an example, and it just, me talking about this made me think of this. This is in KCS. Where'd my KCS? KCS 681. KCS 681. Okay, sidetrack there. But I keep all my documentation. So I put this decoder in here. So I like to write down. I like to keep this stuff, even though I've got more of these instructions. Same with the decoder that's going in this locomotive. Oops. I like to keep them, so that way if I'm ever in a position where or whatever, where I decide, okay, I'm going to sell this locomotive, or maybe something happens, me and the girlfriend decide we want to buy a different house and move, and stuff has to get packed up and all that good stuff, and stuff gets put away for a while. When I go to get it back out, I have access. Okay, what I did, what do I need to do, kind of thing. All right, so now comes, this is the tricky part for me. There. All right, now we're going to put the couplers back in. I'm sure you've seen this before, couplers, but I will go over what I do for couplers. So we're putting 158s. Actually, where are they at? 158. Where are you? I had them in here. Oh, there they are. So what I've been doing on my locomotives is, just for ease of, I guess to make sure that the cars stay coupled, is I'm using KD 119s. They're the whisker ones. Basically, they've got the upper and lower shelf. I cut the upper shelf off. Don't need it. I care more about the lower shelf version, or the lower shelf part, because I found that when these are linked together, let's face it, most of us in the real world don't have 100% perfect track. Oh, and right there, one of them popped out. One of the springs did. So anyways, And so the lower shelf will help, pick that one right, will help maintain your fleet staying together in a sense. You don't have to worry about couplers coming undone in certain spots with the lower shelf. I was doing it on some of my cars, and then I kind of decided, well, I don't really need to have my cars, with the exception of like my tank cars where I have the upper and lower, because that's required. There we go. That's what I wanted to do. So I basically cut the upper shelf off, and then I don't like having the trip pins on them, so we cut those off as well. When you do that though, make sure, especially if you're using like the regular 158 couplers, make sure you remember which direction they go. I've done it a few times. It's not horrible, but I have done it a few times that and where I put it back in and it wasn't right, and I had to take it back apart. It's not bad on most cars, let's face it, most of these, they're easy. Oh, there you go. They're easy to put in, but it's more or less on the ones that, there's a little more work to get the coupler pockets out and all that good stuff. And those generally can be a pain in the butt to take back apart. So yeah, I always like to make sure I got them the right way, which I've done this enough that and most of the time you can tell. It's on these ones where you cut off the upper shelf that kind of can throw you off a little bit, just because you do nick the top part of it. If you cut them, well, I should say, depending on how you cut them off, you nick the top part of it, and it is what it is. Like usually you can see, like on the 158s, when I cut the trip spring off, you don't, I don't usually have an issue with, yes, I'm sidetracked here. Lots and lots of little tiny parts trying to get everything to fall into place. But with the 158s, it's usually easy because there's no other marks from, like, say on like these 119s that are the upper and lower shelf, right? There we go. And so it's easy to tell, okay, here's silver, here's where it's not been cut, and voila, we have this. So what we're going to do is I'm going to take these off my programming track, just set them over here for now, and I'm going to set this locomotive on the programming track. And I'm not going to record this, but I wanted to put it on here, and I'm going to be doing some testing. Basically, the next step is, I don't know if they programmed it to the road number or not. So that's first step I'm going to check, and then I'm going to go through and check all the lights. So thank you, my friends, for watching this video. If you like it, like and subscribe. We're trying to hit that 500 mark, just, a goal. So thank you for watching. Until the next video, keep your train on the tracks.